the Ken campaign going?
The Ken campaign is growing bigger and bigger with every passing day.
I see a few people have joined the fray.
Yes, some. So I don't want to say they've joined. Most of these MPs has always been with us, except that this time around, most of them want to be visible.
Abusiaha Ghana Insight trending news nadan den nyedibi eba ebedomo ora akwesi kwaten eye Kennedy or hene Agyapong spokesperson ababe kasa na wakasa no wose ne rare ahopen ya enyasem keto ne NDC fo nyina omo rare aho ye nyina ye nim na no adori ne kese na torencham helicopter crasher isi ye nine nam so Emma Dr. Omane Boamah, Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Dr. Samuel Sapon, Mr. Samuel Abuajino Doduana, Efas for Eshe Womunkwano, to say, Abo Omupusa Ediario, who Cassie, and Abre Woma Enyasem, Kitana Wakasano, or the ensemble to Giant Fatu Home edify a Yara Kennedy or Hene Agyapong, and Yanko and Yankuti in Semibimber.
Ghana Inside.
Ghana Inside.
Ghana Inside TV.
Ghana Inside. Ghana Inside TV on YouTube.
Mr. Mo subscribe and like and share. They go ahead on my pie the book.
Miss Gomami at the part and I'm a one dance here. So we'll channel Papa, go to YouTube. Now subscribe and like and share.
Publicly.
Okay.
Politics is a game of strategy.
Sure.
We felt that maybe instead of going to organize or invite about, let's say, 26 MPs and make it look like you have about 67 MPs, we felt that, with time, just to sustain the momentum, these senior members of the party who also holds much influence, at every point or every stage, you also let them showcase their face. So today, hopefully, we are going to see between 15 to 20 MPs line up to even go and pick
Are they
nomination.
Former MPs?
No, these are current MPs. We are going to see about 15 to 20 of them lining up to go and pick nomination on behalf of Honorable Kennedy. Of course, they will lead the delegation. So it's a matter of
what time will this be?
That's why I say hopefully today. Okay. I've not had the full clearance yet on the specific time, but I'm sure within the day we should be done. Maybe in the afternoon from between 12 to 2 thereabout. I'm sure. All things being equal. Sometimes we plan and things may not be as we expected. So I am very confident that today, hopefully, we should be able to pick the form. And the point is, you have seen the trend that there's been a mass shift to the Kennedy Agyapong's camp. As at now, just like you saw on social media, Dr. Sibe, Abno Asare, Honorable Ampabin, the Joso MP. A number of them. The also that of the Offenso South. All of them yesterday, they all came publicly, and today we are also going to see new faces. Okay. But for us, our strength even does not lie within the higher rank of the party. Even though it's also important that you need to get some of these influential senior members of the party on board. It has some touch of credibility and some touch of validation. But the Ken's strength has always been with the base, with the grassroots of the party. He speaks their language. He has been advocating for them from day one. So that is where our strength really lies. And I'm very confident that 31st, for me, it wouldn't be so surprised because you can project the trend, how it's going, where there's been some massive support. Now, a lot of people also aligning with the Ken's brand. I've always maintained that even in the spirit of party revival, we need to present a new outlook. And for me,
in the spirit of presenting a new outlook, I have heard Kennedy Agyapong speak on sister station on an interview where he said that some elements...
With Mr. Pratt?
Yes, with Mr. Pratt, Uncle Kwesi Pratt, where he said some elements of the party were trying to collapse him. Will this engender unity in the party? For somebody who is seeking the top job, shouldn't he be shelving some of these things and then, let it pass? It's in the past. He wants to leave the party.
I am of the view that with conversations like this, context is also always very important. And it was a frank conversation that he was having with Mr. Pratt.
Okay.
So Mr. Pratt was the one who posed the question, about whether or not he is broke, because the intelligence that he's gathered is that in the past years he was not awarded a contract, and that was the basis of the explanation that he offered. That yes, from 2017 up till 2020, I mean, he had some significant work and contribution to the party, but from 2021 to 2024, that is where there was no contract for him. I'm not sure is in any way a form of indictment to the party. What essentially it means is that it's just an opportunity to remind the party to also take care of its party faithful. It doesn't matter even the level that you are, whether Kennedy Agyapong or whether any other person, because at the end of the day, now that the party is in opposition, it will still take these same party faithfuls to mobilize, and in terms of even fundraising and other things, to also come and support the party. So I think it was all in the supreme interest of the party that well, we need to assess ourselves. We need to remind ourselves of how we didn't treat ourselves well. And I mean, if this can be done to Kennedy Agyapong, then you can imagine how the grassroots will be treated. So this was a contest within which that was said.
Now let's talk about cocoa pricing.
Yes.
Some members of your party have raised questions about the announcement by the finance minister yesterday, saying that it's a betrayal of the Ghanaian people. Why does your party think so?
For me, initially I would have sided with what Nana Jantua said in his presentation, when he said that when it comes to this conversation, we should not introduce political element into it. But at the end of the day, it obviously boils down to still politically exposed persons taking those decisions. And political parties and politicians have also taken advantage of this, and some of them even benefited from it. So I'm sure it is with this hindsight, that is why, or that is where this conversation is also coming. You see, the point is that when you are campaigning, you campaign based on certain promises and ideas. And based on that, the people accept you or give you that mandate. We have to remind ourselves some of the promises that were made during the NDC campaign, where President Mahama, recall the last part when we increased cocoa pricing. I think it had a significant increase, about 1,305 cedis, if I recall. You recall the comments that came, and the surrounding comments that it was paltry, were cheating the farmers, and that they are going to increase it about 70% of the FOB price, and that when they come into power, the minimum amount that they are going to sell is 6,000. I'm sure the time that they were making these comments, obviously, it was based on certain information that they were privy to, clearly. So if it happens that now you are in power, that what is happening does not really conform with what you promise, certainly then people will have a basis to question. So it's based on how political this regime has been with the pricing. So for me, any other thing they say, even though it may look like a reason, obviously it's an excuse. They promise us they're going to sell it minimum 6,000 Ghana cedis to farmers. They said the minimum that they are going to give farmers is about 70% of the FOB price. And so at no point are they going to cheat farmers. We expect them that at least, I mean, they should express some modicum of honesty in whatever they've said. But it appears that they are not being honest. They are not also being untruthful. It's been excuses upon excuses, which is framed as reasons to justify their inability to sell it at that price. Because if an increment of 1,305 is paltry, then how then will you call 128 cedis increment? So for me, I just feel that it's just the usual politics that they played with the ordinary Ghanaian, where during political season they make so much wild promises, knowing very well that they cannot implement. So when it comes to the cocoa conversation and the pricing, I am of the view that this regime has cooked the worst fraud promises for cocoa farmers, so far as this cocoa conversation is concerned. It is not a case that we came and realized the truth. They had the foreknowledge of the reality, because the cocoa market is an open market. Everybody knows the projections, everybody knows the price that is being sold at the world market. And so at every point, you are able to make a case based on facts, not based on speculations and assumptions. And so if consistently you paint a picture that when you come, you're going to, miraculously increase it to 6,000, and then when you come, it's not so. For me, I feel that it's the worst cooked food for our farmers. And it is important that first of all, in the spirit of honesty, they apologize to them, the farmers, and then let them know the reality that, well, it was just the usual political promise that we made, but in reality we are unable to fulfill it. Then I'm sure we are good to go. We are all been able to move. But I want to make my submission even beyond that. For me, like Mr. Jantua said, for how long are we going to have a conversation on just one raw product without extending the conversation to adding value to it? And not only cocoa. If you pick a product like cassava, a lot of countries are now shifting from these cash crops to cassava, because ethanol alone. If you look at Cassava imports about $2 billion of ethanol to Ghana every year. So you can imagine if he sells roughly the profit that one person is making. This is even more than the money that the whole country probably will mostly go for IMF to. This is cassava alone. And cassava, if you look at the byproducts that can be extracted from cassava, you are looking at about 32 end products. Beyond cassava, you may be looking at sugarcane, the husk, everything. So countries are developing. The conversations are moving from just cocoa, cotton itself. If you look at the chain, I still think the cocoa conversation, of course, without any disrespect to our farmers,
we have overrated cocoa.
We've overrated it, and it's an obsolete conversation that we're having. We should by now have moved from there. Okay. At least even if you are having a conversation on cocoa, the conversation should be situated within the context of adding value to the cocoa that we are producing now, and not necessarily always talking about, because the husk can be used for something. The cocoa bean, even if we move the seed from the bean, itself will have its own product. There is a whole tall list. We just don't add value to anything. So it has always been somebody sitting out there dictating a market for us. And of course, we also believe that some way, somehow, we also have to make some profit from it as a government. We need to move away from that. We need to broaden the conversation. And of course, get to a stage where we say that we are using agriculture to transform our socioeconomic fortunes and making that very... And of course, this is just to chip in. That will be the trump card of Agyapong's campaign. It will be anchored on employment, job creation. It will be anchored on agriculture. It will be anchored on tourism, and also be anchored on decentralization, where ministries will not necessarily be only located in Accra. But for instance, you look at Ministry of Education may be taken to Central Region. If you look at, let's say, Ministry of Energy, in the spirit of decentralization, it can go to, let's say, Western Region. We want to decentralize the country and also grow the other capitals. But our trump card is really on agriculture and job creation, where the extractive industry within the agriculture space, the chain within the agriculture space, we're able to add more value to it so that it really creates jobs. And for me, that is where the cocoa conversation should start from, and not necessarily always arguing about pricing. As for pricing, we know that the government was just dishonest about it. They just played politics with it. Now they are confronted with reality. And for me, I insist they have to do the honorable thing. Other than that...
The honorable thing being?
They just have to apologize to the farmers that, well, the 6,000 that we promised was just the usual politics. Because they didn't do it. And I'm not sure they will ever do it. Because, you see, the point is that at every point, the price will also change at the world market. So if it goes up, you are not also going to give them 6,000. It probably may also have to go beyond 6,000. If it comes down, the 6,000 that you promised, but at the end of the day, at least they even give us a picture of how they are going to do it. in a percentage term, 70%. 70% of the world market price should not be giving us the 3,000, the 128 difference that they've added. It should be selling at least a minimum of 6,000 or 6,100 if you do the calculations. So practically, if you realize you can say that about 52% to 53% is a loss to the farmer, where such monies or the government is not explaining to anybody. And of course, we didn't make such promise because we know that at every point government provides inputs to cocoa farmers, and so some way somehow the government also regulates the market. But then it's not like you've not been in government before. You've been in government before. Yes, still you made that profound promise that you are going to do A, B, C, D. Today you came and it's not so. I think the right thing for me is for them to offer an explanation. That explanation should just be to, make a very dispassionate apology to the farmers with regards to how they played politics with their minds. Of course, a lot of farmers believe it because that's also the reason why they went to vote for them. But if any farmer is watching me, they should get to know that there is no way these people are going to implement the 70% thing that they are going to, they promise. They always give reasons or excuses and ban them as reasons.
Let me add just a little bit to the added value bit. And I can't mention the company's name because we'll be advertising for them.
Oh, he's been advertising for.
Do you know there's a company? Do you know there's a company in Ghana, a Ghanaian company in Ghana, that extracts the skin around the bean, the white skin around the bean, and turns it into juice?
Really?
Yes, in Ghana here. And these are the companies we need to help. They take the bean after it's slashed, and they take the skin off, that white sweet skin off, and turn it into juice. But the cost of production is high. These are the kind of companies we need to look at so that the cost of production can be brought down. Packaging alone can be a challenge. Apart from that, you know what the Swiss are thinking of doing now? They are thinking of now not buying only the seed, but buying the whole cocoa pod. Because they see the added value in the pod. If they come and they want to buy the whole pod, will we sell it to them? I think we should look at it ourselves and see how we can add value to the entire cocoa. Just like coconut. Look at all the coconut that is strewn around the country. And that coconut husk can be used for so many things.
A lot of people even
so
use
the
it as charcoal.
The added value, briquettes. These are briquettes. The added value bit is key. But as I said earlier, from what Chrissy said, the exchange rate too has created some of the challenges with the pricing that has been given. And we want a strong CD. It has its own machinations. So let's take it and see how best we add value. For me, that is where the key is. If you add value and can export, what are you getting? Foreign exchange back into the country. So let's look at that side and stop always arguing about pricing. Because cocoa pricing will always go up and down, up and down, up and down. But if you add value, then you're attracting more pricing.
Just a quick bite. But Nana, are you suggesting when the NDC was making a promise of 6,000 and 70% of the world market price, they didn't know the exchange rate would change? They don't control exchange rate.
Oh, come on. Did you ever think the exchange rate will move from where you guys
when it was 15 to 10?
No, respectfully, Nana. You see, you are so quick to always jump into the defense of the NDC. I don't respectfully, Nana. I don't care about your biases and alignment with the NDC. Of course, there's nothing wrong. Even the president himself is politically inclined. But when politically exposed persons makes promises and campaigns at the backdrop of such promises, to the extent that they benefit from those promises, you don't tell us that we may not be able to question it, and then try to frame excuses as reasons. Is it the first time you are going to deal with exchange rate?
It is the word. The word of politicians.
I'm coming.
Your party does it. Every party does it.
Exchange rate will. It is the
more. Do it.
I am saying that you benefit. Exchange rate will always be there.
Okay.
Let
me allow you.
They have failed the farmers.
We
that's
all
all.
do it.
Okay.
Your party does it.
So let me allow you coming.
Yeah, it's.